Esau Jacob's what?
Brother?
Right. Now he did ask the question then.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So had you picked up on that, then you would say, well, they were brothers.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So let's go to Genesis. Now we can go now.
It's the book of Genesis chapter 25, starting in verse 21.
Read.
And Isaac entreated the Lord.
Who?
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Now, what that was is that Isaac entreated the Lord. He talked to the Lord. He prayed to the Lord because his wife was having problems with not giving kids.
Right.
So go ahead, read.
Verse 22, and the children struggled together within her.
Now she is pregnant, but she's having problems.
They're struggling.
There you go. Read.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Why am I what?
Why am I thus?
Read.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
What a normal woman should do. Read.
And the Lord said unto her,
What did he say?
2 nations are in thy womb.
Now I want you to understand something here. This is verse 23 that he's reading. Starting off telling her that 2 nations are in thy womb. Okay, what makes up a nation? People. Do you think that she has a lot of people in her womb? I said, do you think that she has a lot of people in her womb?
No.
Okay, it says 2. Anyway, read.
2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Okay, so it started off in verse 23, 2 nations are in thy womb. That's the first prophecy. You're reading about prophecy here. Okay, and the second phrase he said was what?
2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
When it says 2 manner, that means different manner. Okay, read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Giving you a specific characteristic that they're going to bear. One is going to be stronger than the other. Read.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Now, that's heavy right there because it says the elder shall serve the younger. So what you want to do as you start reading on, you want to try to pick up who's the... You see what I'm saying? Read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled,
What?
behold, there were twins in her womb.
So now we know the twins in the room. Read.
And the first came out red.
You know this is the first, okay, the first birth in the Bible that describes the color of one, whoever, child, whatever. First came out what?
And the first came out red,
Read.
all over, like an hairy garment.
Also give you a characteristic of appearance as well as being red. All over like a hairy garment. Read.
And they called his name Esau.
Down. See, that connects. Romans 9, Malachi 1. You see what I'm saying? Esau.
The brother.
Okay, that's okay. Read.
And after that came his brother out,
Uh-oh. Read.
and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
That was a behavior when his brother came out. That was a behavior. Also mean a prophecy. Okay? We'll talk about it some other time. Anyway, read.
And his name was called Jacob.
His name was called what?
And his name was called Jacob.
So, dear lady, we ran from all the way from Romans 9:13, Malachi, you see what I'm saying? And we're still talking about,
Same 2 brothers.
get it? Okay? So now, that last verse there one more time.
And his name was called Jacob.
Start from the top of that last verse.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Okay?
And his name was called Jacob.
And his name was called Jacob. Now, that behavior, taking hold of his brother's heel on his way out, okay, that too is a prophecy. I'm not going to get into that, okay? So now, at this here point here, I'm going to ask you a question, young lady. What is your nationality? What nation do you come from?
Trinidadian.
Say again?
I'm Trinidadian.
Trinidadian. Okay, so from the islands. Okay, all right. You want it, brother? on. I just warmed the stove up.
All right, so you said you're Trinidadian, right? And you believe in God.
Yes.
So that means you believe in God's word. So where do you find Trinidadian in the Bible? That word. You don't find it. Do you find the nation of blacks in the Bible? What about African American? You don't find those words in the Bible. Why don't you find those words in the Bible? Now think about, give me Job 8:8. So what we do is we call ourselves after things that God didn't call us. We have to start questioning that. Why would I call myself and adopt something that God didn't call me? What is the reason for that? What is the cause of this? All right, I'm going to show you. Bring it up.
This is the book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 8.
Right?
For inquire, I pray thee,
Read.
of the former age.
We have to start thinking about the former age. Right? Our people, we only know our history up until 1619. Right? If I was to ask our people, who is the most famous people from our race, what are we going to say? We're going to say Martin Luther King. Right? We're going to say LeBron James. Right? Rosa Parks. We don't know any of our history prior to 1619. We can't date it back. We don't know. Right? So the Lord said, inquire, I pray thee, of the former age. Read on.
And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
So you have to find out who your forefathers are. Right? Now you'll say, well, how can I find out who my forefathers? I don't know who my forefathers is. I just know my great grandma Suzanne. Right? She made those good apple pies. Right? Because my grandmother told me about it. Right? And I went to the Christian church and they told me, who my grandmother was and my grandfather, he made cars. But guess what? Your records are in the Bible. This is where your forefathers are documented at. So let's find out who our forefathers are. All right, give me Deuteronomy 29 and 1. All right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29 and verse 1.
All right, let's see what God said.
These are the words of the covenant,
Right? Read on.
which the Lord commanded Moses.
A covenant is a contract. Now, God made a contract with a specific race of people. Right? Now, Moses is the leader of this race of people. Now, let's see who Moses is speaking to. Read on.
To make with the children of Israel.
With the who?
With the children of Israel.
Have you ever heard of the children of Israel? Those are the Israelites. Those are God's chosen people.
That's right.
Out of all of the races of people that God created, he chose one race of people to be his chosen people. Did you know he only chose one race? You was told that? All right, give me Deuteronomy 76 real quick.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6.
All right, give me 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and go to verse 22, I think. All right, one of y'all, bring it up.
For thou art an holy people.
The Israelites is who he's speaking about. He said that they are a holy people. The word holy means what? What does the word holy mean? Believing, chosen. All right. Now, when you go into the etymology of this word, right, the word holy, because we didn't always speak the English language, right? When we go into the Hebrew of this word holy, what it means is set apart, right? The word is kodash. That's what it means. Now that word means set apart, different. Now this people is set apart. For thou art what?
And holy people.
These are different people. Out of all of the creations that he created this people to be different, holy. That's what the word peculiar means. Right? Read on.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Read on.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
If he chose something, right, that means that he holds this, something that he chose, near and dear to his heart. And it also means something else is left out. The Lord thy God has chosen thee, read on.
To be a special people,
right,
unto himself.
Read on.
Above all people.
No, everybody's equal on the earth.
Above all people.
Read on.
That are upon the face of the earth.
Who is this chosen people that God said they're above everybody else that he created? I mean, who could it be? Who could this be talking about? This big book with all of these records, all of these prophecies and promises, and everything that the Lord gave them from the foundation of the world. Who could this be talking about? Let's show you. Give me Deuteronomy. Yeah, bring it up.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 44, verse 1.
Right?
Yet now hear, O Jacob,
Right?
my servant,
Read on.
and Israel, whom I have chosen.
In the world, Israel means what? Prince of the power with God. This entire race of people has the Spirit of God in them. They may not know it. They may not be acting upon it right now, but it's in their spirit to be the children of God.
That's right.
And you now living in the last days where this word is coming out and their spirit will be revived. Now let's find out who this people is. Right? Give me Deuteronomy 11 and 26.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 26.
Let's see what God told the Israelites that what would happen to them in the future. Right? Bring it out.
Behold, I set before you this day
Now this is Moses speaking to them, their leader at this time. Read on.
a blessing and a curse.
Moses delivered them out of Egypt. Now this is after the Exodus. Now he got them in the wilderness and he's preaching to them. He's prophesying to them. He told them that he set up before them blessings and curses. Read on.
A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God,
Right.
which I command you this day.
Read on.
And a curse.
And a what?
And a curse.
And a what?
And a curse.
And a curse. Now a curse a good or a bad thing? Bad thing. Right? A curse is what?
If ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God.
So what we're going to do is we're going to read the curses that fell upon this chosen people, right? Now, whoever these curses align up with history and prophecy, these are the chosen people. This verse that we're about to read, if this sounds like your history, then you will be a part of the chosen people. And the kingdom of heaven belongs to you. And your nationality is about to be given back to you. Because black is just a color out of a crayon box. African American, those are two continents. Right? You can't leave here today calling yourself those words that you were taught here in America. So let's find out who the chosen people is. Go to verse Deuteronomy 28:16.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 16.
Right?
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
The Lord said, what will happen to the Israelites?
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
For breaking the commandments, not keeping them, doing what they want to do, they'll now be cursed in the city. What race of people is at the bottom of society in any part of the world that you go to? So-called blacks, right? Because remember, black is just the color of your shirt, right? You know, nobody is black, right? We can't go to the land of black because there's no such thing as the land of black,
Right.
right? So the Lord is speaking to the who? The Israelites. Cursed shall I be in the city. What else?
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
In the where?
In the
In the
field.
In the where?
In the field.
What does this look like? Right? Were these people happy being in this cotton field, picking cotton all day? So who was cursed in the field? You see that? And your great-great-grandma, grandfather picked cotton for hundreds of years. Right? And you from the island, so your people pick what? Sugar cane, so on and so forth. Right? Now watch this. Give me verse 68. We're going to jump to the gun.
Verse 68.
This is another curse that will happen to the Israelites.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord said that if they break the commandments, they have to go back into Egypt again. Right? Now, what was the condition that the Israelites were in Egypt for Moses to say, Pharaoh, let my people go? Slaves. So what do you think God is saying when he said you're going to have to go back into Egypt again?
Precept.
What do you think that means, sister? Egypt. You're going to have to go back into Egypt again for being disobedient. Because remember, they didn't go back to the physical land now. So we're going to show you. Go ahead, bring it out.
Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2.
Right?
I am the Lord thy God,
Read.
which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Read on.
out of the house of bondage.
What is Egypt?
Out of the house of bondage.
Egypt is the house of bondage. Another word for bondage would be what you just said. The condition that they was in, which is slavery. How did your people get to that part of the islands? They were taken there on what part of transportation? By boat. Because they weren't always from there. Right? They was from somewhere else. Right? And they migrated there. You said they was taken on boats. So let's see what God said will happen to what race of people. What's the name of the people that we're reading about? The who? That's right. Can y'all say that word? Israelites.
Israelites.
That's right. That's right. Israelites.
That's right.
Let's see what God said. Bring it out.
Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Right.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Egypt is slavery or bondage. Let's see how the Israelites would get into slavery or bondage. Read it again from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Right, Egypt again. Hold on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Breaking the commandments, they're going to have to go to slavery. How they going to get there?
With ships.
On a plane.
With ships.
On a bus.
With ships.
They're going to swim.
With ships.
With ships. Now, your people got to that part of the island by slave ships. Right? Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
And it's going to happen the same way that God said it's going to happen. You have something called the Transatlantic slave trade, right? Where the so-called black man, West Indies, and the so-called Haitian man was transported from uttermost parts of West Africa to the new world, or the known world. You have something called the sub-Saharan slave trade, right? Where the so-called Arab man was selling your people to those sticky, dirty Africans. That's what you call a slave trade, right? With ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Read on.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Or you're going to go back to Israel.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You're going to be stuck on the islands, right? And then you're going to try to go to America because they say this is the home of the free, right? Where all of your dreams can come true, right? You can start your business, you can get your LLC, you can kind of do your thing, buy you some land, right? So the Lord said you'll never see your homeland again. So those people that are in Israel right now, guess what? They are not the people. You know, they're not the chosen people. They lie. Read on.
And there ye shall be sold.
And when you get off of those slave ships, there you shall be what?
Ye shall be sold.
Weren't our people sold? Didn't they give us their last names? And they shall be sold
unto your enemies.
To who?
Unto your enemies.
So the people that we were sold to, God said that they are our enemies. That's the so-called white man. Right? They've never been your friends. God didn't change that. Right? As soon as you jump to the book of Matthew, there's no change. Those people are still your enemies. And this happened after Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the so-called New Testament. Right? Read on.
For bondmen,
slave men,
and bondwomen,
slave woman,
and no man shall buy you.
Nobody came to those islands to tell your people that we are the Israelites and that we have to keep the commandments before the Lord comes back. So nobody has redeemed us yet. Right? So get a sister a flyer. So according to the Bible, who are we? What did God call us, sister? That's right.
That's right.
We're the Israelites. Right? We are the Israelites, sister. The information on the flyer.
Okay.
Right? We got to keep the commandments in the faith, sister.
Let's go.
All right, can you say that, brother? Who are we? God's chosen people. What's the name of God's chosen people?
The word you just said.
Israelites.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. What about you, sister? That's right.
That's right.
Y'all are the Israelites.
All right, fellas.
All praise. All praise. Peace, King. How you feeling, brother?
Yeah.
All praise to the Most High. Got any questions, King? All praise. Give me Colossians chapter 3 and verse 4. All right, give me Colossians 3 and 4. Give me Baruch chapter 3 and go to verse 4. Give me Revelation chapter 19 and verse 1.
19.
Now bring it out.
This is the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
When Christ, who is our life.
What did the Lord say?
When Christ, who is our life.
Breathe again.
When Christ, who is our life.
Right, everybody in the last days are going to learn about the truth about the Messiah, man.
That's right.
Right? The truth about Yahushua, Kwamulak, Hamashiach, man. Right? The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, man. Right? And he's on his way back. Right. You understand? With his heavenly host of angels that save the so-called black man that you have burned alive in America. Right? Whom you scourged and castrated. The so-called Native American Latino men, right? Who you took their land and gave them all manner of false gods and ideologies, man. Right? And the Lord is our life. Right? Read that again.
When Christ, who is our life.
Right? Who is our life? Read on.
Shall appear.
Shall what?
Shall appear.
Shall appear. Do y'all know that the Lord is going to appear? Y'all don't care about the Lord's appearance? All right, so guess what? If you're a black, Hispanic, or Native American, you'll be an Israelite. And you got to return back to the Lord.
That's right.
Or guess what's going to happen to you? You're not going to have a gate. Right? Read that again.
When Christ, who is our life,
Read on.
shall appear.
Shall what?
Shall appear.
A lot of people don't think that the Lord is going to appear. Right? A lot of people don't even know how the Lord is going to appear. Right? Oh, well, I guess he's going to kind of crack the sky. You know, it's going to kind of peel back open like a hardback book. Maybe a paper book. And then the Lord, he's kind of going to peek his head in and, you know, he's going to peek and see what's going on down in the earth. You understand? And then he's kind of jump down and give everybody hugs. The Lord's not coming back to give everybody hugs,
Wake
man.
them up.
Right? How is the Lord going to appear?
Wake them
Right?
up.
Give me Revelation. Yeah, bring it out.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 7.
Bring it
Give me the classic Isaiah chapter 66.
Behold, he cometh with clouds.
He cometh with what?
He cometh with clouds.
How's the Lord going to appear?
He cometh with clouds.
So the Lord is going to come back with clouds, right? People say he's coming back with clouds, right? The white clouds, and how is he going to sit on clouds, right? Can't you fall right through them?
Right.
Right? Well, what are the clouds according to the Bible? Give me the book of Psalms chapter 104 and go to verse 3. Right? Do you guys know how the Lord is going to come back? They don't know.
They don't
Does
know.
anybody know?
They don't know.
Out of the 5 of you guys that are walking past, none of you guys know how the Lord is going to come back.
They don't know.
See, that's a shame, man.
That's a shame.
That is a shame, right? And these are the people that are in rulership.
Right.
That taught you your education system, that taught you about your Lord and your Savior.
Right.
Right? Your grandma's going to go to church tomorrow, and everything that she's going to teach is going to come from those people.
Right.
That don't have the answers. Right? So let's see how the Lord is coming back. What are the clouds according to the Bible? Bring it out.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 104 and verse 3.
Right? And this is Israelite 101.
Right.
Right? If you've been in the truth for over a year and you don't know this right here, hey, you need to wake up.
Wake
man.
up.
You need to go, you need to start praying more, you need to start fasting more, you need to start studying, right? Bring it out.
Who layeth the beams of his chambers
Right.
in the waters.
Read on.
Who maketh the clouds.
Who maketh the what?
Who maketh the clouds.
Read on.
His
His
chariots.
what?
His chariots.
The Lord said he makes the clouds his chariots, right? What are chariots, right? Chariots are vehicles that the angels use, right? Who are the angels? Angels like Michael the Archangel, Raphael, Uriel, right? These are the vehicles that were created before Genesis 1 and 1.
Right.
Right? And the Lord created these angels before then, and they have been coming to the earth before what you think the earth was created, man.
Right.
Right? And these vehicles, they're not like, you know,
Honda Accord.
yeah, the slingshot that's just driving past. Look at the slingshot, right? You got Jake in the last day, man. If I could just get me some money, man, I'd get me one of those slingshots. But that's the baddest thing riding. No, it's not, man. Right? Lexuses, you understand? Mercedes-Benz.
Land Rover.
See that? Brothers name the cars. Cadillacs. Right? What else? What's the double R? Rolls Royces. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of people, well, the Rolls Royce, man, you know, it rides and you kind of can't hear nothing. It's silent. It got the stars up there. Right? And we don't want a Rolls Royce, man.
That's right.
Right? We want a Chariot, man. Right? Yeah, no G-Wagons. It's not going to be G-Wagons in the kingdom of heaven. Right? We're going to have chariots.
Right.
That's right.
Right? That these scientists of today, they still can't figure the chariots out.
Right.
Right? What were those slaves singing about down in that field? Talking about swing low, sweet chariot. Coming forth to carry me home. Right? I wonder what they were singing about. I looked in the sky. Well, is it a UFO? Is it an alien in there? Right? Maybe it's other species from other planets.
Right.
No, man. These are the angels, man.
That's right.
Read that
Come up.
again.
The book of Psalm, chapter 104 and verse 3.
Bring it out.
Who layeth the beams of his chambers
Read on.
in the waters.
Right?
Who maketh the clouds his chariot.
Read on.
Who walketh upon the wings of
Right?
the wind.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind? Read on.
Who maketh his angels spirits.
Who maketh his what?
Who maketh his angels spirits.
Read on.
His ministers a flaming fire.
You see that? His ministers a flaming fire. And what is a minister? Those are men that go forth to do the work of the Lord. Right? You have angels that go forth, they do the work of the Lord.
Right.
They can kill you, they'll put you to death, they can save you. You understand? They create all manner of thunderstorms and rain and chaos on the earth. Right? Pestilence, famine, plagues, right? The Lord sent his angels to do that, man. Those are ministering spirits. Go back to Revelation, right? And give me the book of Psalms. Go to chapter.
I was in Revelation 1:7.
Yeah, read that again.
The book of Revelation,
Matter of fact, give me Jude. Go to chapter 1. Go to verse
chapter 1, verse 7.
Bring it on.
Right?
Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
And the Lord said, every eye is going to see the Lord. How is every eye going to see the Lord if you think that he's going to crack over the sky like a nasty Harry Potter book and peep his face inside? Right? Give me the book of Jude.
The book of Jude, chapter 1, and verse 7.
Right? No. Jude chapter 1 and go to verse 14.
Verse 14. And Enoch also,
Right?
the seventh from Adam,
Right? Enoch also the seventh man from Adam. Read on.
prophesied of these, saying,
Right? And Enoch was a prophet. A lot of people don't know that. Right? Well, what happened to Enoch? It said that the Lord took him. Guess who took Enoch? Right? The angels took him. A chariot, man. Right? That's what happened to him. Read on.
Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints.
With what?
With 10,000s of his saints.
The Lord is coming back with 10,000 of his saints. And these saints are the ministering spirits that are angels, right? That ride in these chariots that have the lightning speed, man. You kind of can't time the speed of these chariots and how they move.
Right.
Right? It's lightning speed. They can stop on a dime. They can kind of hover. You understand? They do their thing, right? 10,000 of his saints, read on.
To execute judgment upon all.
You see that? And their job is to execute judgment upon all, right? You got people in the world, well, I have my guardian angel. You don't have a guardian angel, man, especially not the heathen, right? These angels are only set for the black, Hispanic, and Native American men.
Right.
How do we know that? Give me the book of Hebrews, go to chapter 1, and I think it's verse 12, right? And then hold that what you got. Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 12.
Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 12. And as a vesture shalt thou fold them up, and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail.
Read on.
But to which of the angels said he at any time,
Read on.
sit on my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool?
Right? And that's talking about us making our enemies as our footstool. You got ancient pictures where you got so-called white men sitting in a rocking chair, right? And he didn't, he kind of didn't have no stool. So what did he do, right? He said, go get one of them nigger boys out there in that field, right? And tell him to lay down. And then he put his foot on Jake's chest, right? And then he go ask for a lemonade, right? From one of them nigger gals, right? That's what happened in this society.
Right.
Right? So what do you think the Lord is going to do? He's going to make them our footstool, man. Right? The Lord is going to turn these curses around and lay them upon our enemies.
Wake
That's
them up.
right.
The so-called white men. Right? Read that again, Baba Kashaw.
And as a vesture shalt thou fold them up,
Right?
and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail.
Read on.
But to which of the angels said he at any time?
And a lot of people don't believe in the angels, man. Right? You even got that in the scriptures. You had men that so-called try to teach the scriptures. They ain't even believe in angels. And you got that now. You got brothers that got camps that don't believe in the angels. Talking about we're going to save ourselves. Talking about the so-called UFOs aren't real. Right? This is madness, man.
Right.
And the Lord warned us about these men. Right? So if you don't know how you're going to get saved or how you're going to get delivered, hey, you need to wake up, man.
Right.
Right? You ain't got much time. All hell could break loose. An EMP attack, World War III can kick off right now as we speak, right? It could be a famine, no food. It ain't no telling how long it's gonna last. And the next thing you know, the Lord cracked the sky with his thousands and thousands and thousands of angels, and you're not gonna know what it is. You can be praying to the Lord, well, Lord, keep them from me, right? Lord, I don't want them things to come and save me, right? I don't know what it is. Right? So you need to know about
Right.
how you're going to get delivered, man.
Wake them up.
Right? Read on.
Sit thou on my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Right? Read.
Are they not all ministering spirits?
This is talking about the angels. Right? With the chariots. Are not they all ministering spirits? Read on.
Sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation.
You see that? The angels are only coming for those that are heirs of salvation.
Right.
Who are the people that are heirs of salvation? Did the Lord promise salvation to the Moabites? Did he promise salvation to the Edomites? Right? The brother said, La. Right. What about the Hamites, man? Right? They are not the heirs of salvation. Right? Give me that in Romans chapter 8 real quick. And then give me Romans chapter 9 and verse 1. Let's see who the heirs of salvation, right? The heirs is a promise, an inheritance. You understand? Right? Like you may have a great-grandfather, right? And he may have left you an inheritance, right? You can replace that word with an heir, right? Like you have that in so-called real estate, right? Well, you know, this is an heir's property, right? And then you got Jake, you got that a lot down south, man, right? It's this so-called documentary I was looking at, right, in so-called South Carolina, right, where you have a lot of these Jakes that are Geechee Gullah and so on and so forth, where they kind of been there for a while, right, and they great-great-grandparents, you understand, they took ownership of certain land masters, right, and then they kind of pass away. And then you got Jake get all indoctrinated with Babylon, so they go off to college and so on and so forth, and they kind of move from their homeland, right? Now, you got all these new developments in Babylon the Great, as the Lord promised in Malachi, the first chapter, right? Real quick, get that real quick in Malachi chapter 1, right? Because the Lord said that the so-called white man will come and build up a desolate place, right? Bring it out real quick, Malachi chapter 1, right? To let me back off of that, right? So what happened was the so-called white man is now building up all these places in Babylon, right? You got all this real estate development going on, all these new cities, right? Everybody trying to purchase a house now, right? But guess who owned this land prior to that? Jake owned the land,
Right.
right? The so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American man owned more than half of Babylon the Great, all right? Because we knew about these things. The so-called white man, when he came over here, he didn't know nothing about real estate. He didn't know nothing about having ownership of the land. He didn't even know how to bathe himself, right? Our people taught him how to bathe himself.
Look 'em
They
up.
taught him how to read, you understand? They taught him how to have dignity, right? How to speak, right? How to be a great orator. That was us, man, right? Bring it out real quick. Start at verse 4.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith,
Right? Edom is the biblical name for the entire white race, right? A lot of people say, there's a man came up last night where he said, well, all white people aren't the same, right? You know? All white people, he kind of stood on his TV, all white people aren't the same, right? Yes, you are, man. You come from Esau, right? Read that again.
whereas Edom
So,
saith,
how you doing, brother? You got a second to hear the word of the Lord? Come on, brother. You got 1 second, brother. All right, brother, can you take a flyer? Y'all are God's chosen people, the Israelites,
Right.
right? The chosen people. That's us, brother.
That's right.
Read that again.
whereas Edom saith,
Right? Like I said, Edom is the biblical name for the entire white race.
Right.
Right? Just like how we got different tribes, we got the 12 tribes of Israel. A lot of brothers don't bring it. Esau got different tribes.
Right.
You got the Dukes of Edom, you understand?
That's right.
Right? And that's why in this government, they try to kind of separate themselves. Right? Oh, no, they try to separate themselves with, what's the word I'm looking for? Politics. Right? They try to separate themselves with politics. Right? You know? Oh, well, he's in religion too. Oh, he's a Baptist Christian. You know, I'm a Presbyterian. Right? And they kind of, I'm Catholic. Right? And they try to separate themselves. You
Right.
got, like with these wars that happen, you got the British War, right? Where Esau is fighting on Esau action. But guess what? They all Edomites, man. So the Lord said, whereas Edom says, read on,
we are impoverished.
right? We are impoverished, right? And Esau hasn't always owned these banks, right? A lot of man, the so-called white man, they got everything, man. They take these boat trips and they go to the lake. They got their lake houses, and they didn't always have this, man, right? Ask your fellow so-called white man about his great-great-grandfather, right? You say, well, my great-grandfather, you know, we was poor, you know, he worked good and hard in America, right? We built this country. That's why they're so proud about this country, man. Right? Because they started from nothing. right? And they was impoverished, just like the Lord said. And this is chiefly talking about the dark ages, right? Just like Jake, you so-called black man, right? You think that you just been niggas forever, man. At one point in time on the earth, you was kings, man. You had royalty, you had royal garments, right? You spoke with dignity, man, right?
That's right.
Because you ruled during different time periods.
Right.
And this time period right here is talking about the dark ages, right? Read on.
But we will return and build the desolate places.
Right? Now, that's what happened. The so-called white man came back into power during the Renaissance, and they built the desolate places, man. Right? This is why they couldn't destroy the Bible, because they knew that their prophecies was inside. So a lot of people, well, that's the white. Well, if this is our book, why didn't the white man destroy it? Because he couldn't. Right? He wants to know what's going on. He wants to know God's word. Do you guys want to know God's word?
I know God's word.
See that?
I know.
Right? They say they know it. Right? You know? And we know that they don't know it.
Right.
That's right.
Right? They don't even know their biblical nationality.
Right.
Right? And guess what happened? They built up America. Now they walking around Babylon the Great freely.
Right.
Right? Look at them, just walking. Having a good old dandy Saturday. Right? Yeah, where we watch football, eat chips, right?
Beer.
Yeah, and drink beer. And we go to the beach house. Right? So they built this place up. Read on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts.
Right?
They shall build, but I will throw down.
And those are the days that you live in.
That's
So go
right.
back to that. Right? So these angels are ministering spirits only for the elect.
Right.
Right? Because we're heirs according to the promise. And give me Romans chapter 9 and verse 1. Bring it up. Hebrews.
Romans.
Give me Hebrews first.
Okay.
The book of Hebrews chapter 1 and verse
14.
14.
Bring it out.
Are they not all ministering spirits
Read on.
sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?
See that? For them that shall be heirs of salvation. So these angels are only coming for those that are heirs of salvation. Let's find out who are heirs of salvation. Let's get the classics in Romans chapter 9.
We're going to Romans
Chapter 8 real quick.
chapter 9,
I think it's verse 23.
starting at verse 1.
Bring it out.
I say the truth in Christ. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost. Verse 2. That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were a curse from Christ.
Right, so we all know that this is Paul speaking, man. He wish he could have gone through the same thing that Christ went through, right? Because Christ told you who he went through these things for. You can read that in Matthew, the 1st chapter, verse 21. You can read that in Matthew, the 2nd chapter, the 6th verse. You can read that in the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 21, Acts chapter 5, verse 29, right? Christ went through the suffering and the affliction for the Israelites.
Right.
Right? Not just the Jews only, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, but for all 12 tribes of Israel, so they can be remitted back to the Father. That's what the whole book of Galatians is about.
Wake 'em up.
Right? So that all tribes can be remitted back to the Father. It doesn't matter if they worship Diana of Ephesus. It doesn't matter if they lived in Philemon. It doesn't matter if they lived in Galatia, Thessalonica, Corinth. Right? It doesn't matter where you lived at, man. If you're heirs according to the promise, Christ died for you. He loved you, and you can come back to the Most High, man.
That's right.
That's what the whole so-called New Testament is about. But the world just act like they just can't get it, man. Right? Because you keep learning from T.D. Jakes, man. T.D. Snakes, right? And Creflo Dollar, man. And Juanita Binder, man. Stop listening to Juanita Binder, right? And Kim Burrell, man. Right? Where they singing all these songs, but they're not going through the precepts.
Right.
Tamala Man, right? You got Jake. Well, I can't wait to hear Tamala Man this Sunday, man. You know, she gonna make me feel good in the spirit. No, brother, these precepts make you feel good in the spirit.
Right.
That's right.
Right? How you doing, sister? You got a second to hear the Bible? One Bible verse? You don't want to hear one Bible verse, sister? All right, you guys chosen people, the Israelites. You gotta repent and come back to the Lord.
Get out, sister.
Yeah, and if you with that white man, you gotta leave him, sister.
Get out, sister.
Right? God said so.
Yes, Lord.
Right? Bring it out, kid. Yeah, that's what I want.
Book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 2 again.
Wake them up.
That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ.
Right, read on.
For my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
Right, so Paul said he wished he could have went through the things that Christ went through
Right.
for his brethren, his kinsfolks, right? That's where Jake you get kinfolk from. All right, that's just my kinfolk, right? You think you made that up in Babylon? We've been saying that, man, right? My kinsmen according to the flesh, and we know that Paul's a Benjamite, right? So let's see who Paul's brethren is.
Verse 4, who are Israelites,
Right? Who are Israelites, read on.
to whom pertaineth the adoption
Right? The adoption pertains to the Israelites. Read
Right.
on.
and the glory
Right, read on.
and the covenants
Read.
and the giving of the law
Right, what else?
and the service of God
Right?
and the promises.
And the what?
And the promises.
So the promises belongs to who? Those that are heirs according to the Most High.
That's right.
And we know that an heir is an inheritance, which is a promise.
Right.
So that belongs to the Israelites. Right? So read that in Hebrews one more time. Hebrews chapter 1 and I think verse 14.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 1, and verse 14.
Bring it out.
Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?
Right? Now go to Romans chapter 8 and verse 17.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 17.
Right now, a lot of people get jammed up with Romans chapter 8, but Romans chapter 9 summed it up. I just told you who was talking about, right? They get jammed up with Romans chapter 11 as well, right? But verse 27 sums up the matter.
Right.
So let's see who are heirs according to salvation,
And if children, then heirs, heirs of God,
right?
and joint heirs with Hamashiach,
Right? They're joint heirs to Hamashiach. Read on.
if so be that we suffer with him, that we may also glorified together.
Right, now who is this talking about? Romans chapter 9 told you to you, right? These same people are joint heirs to the Most High God, right? So go back to the chariots, right? Go back to Jude, right? So you got to know that these chariots are only coming for one class of people.
Right.
They're only coming from one race of people, right? And the other races, guess what? They're not coming for them. They're coming to destroy.
Wake them up.
Right? They're coming to destroy America. You understand? They're coming to put people to death, right? And cause all hell to break loose in this society, right? And while we give me the book of Amos, chapter 3, and go to verse 7, real quick.
Book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
Right, so the Lord told us we have to come out here and speak these things so that these things can come to pass.
That's right.
That's what prophecy is all about. The Most High puts the inspiration on men, particular men, and it comes forth out of their mouth, and then it comes to pass. Right? Isaiah chapter 48, verse 3 will tell you that. Right? So the chariots are coming, man.
Right.
Right? UFOs are real.
That's
and they're
right.
coming to save you, Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans.
That's right.
Right? Go back to Jude and read. Did you finish? Go back to Revelation chapter 1, right, in verse 7. Finish that real quick.
Oh, yeah. Book of Revelation, chapter 1, repeating verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him,
Right, read on.
and they also which pierce him.
Right, so go to Jude. Right, this is how everybody's gonna see the Lord.
The book of Jude, verse 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam,
Right,
prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints
right.
to execute judgment upon all.
Upon who?
Upon all.
Read on.
and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds.
Right? Now those people that it's talking about chiefly are the people that pierced the Lord.
Right.
Right? Which is the Roman Empire.
That's right.
Who's the Roman Empire? You so-called white people. Right? You elites of this society. You
Right.
illuministic ones, man. You unbelievers, man. Right? You people that brought up our Lord and scourged him, man, and bruised him. Right? And you spit on him, man. Right? How do you think the Lord is gonna do you when you spit on him? Right? And the Lord told you that the first time he came as a lamb, and this time he's coming as a lion. Right? So the Lord is coming to put people in their place.
That's
Give
right.
me Isaiah chapter 31 and go to verse 4. Finish that.
Which they have ungodly committed,
Right?
and of all their hard speeches,
Right?
which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
Right? How y'all doing, family? All praises. Y'all believe in God? All praises. Now, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
What did God call us in the Bible? What is our name, our nationality?
Was our nationality?
Yep. Yours and mine. What did God call us? Because we know that African American is not in the Bible, right? Neither is black, neither is the coloreds, right? But they called us those names in America, right? So what did God call us?
Other than children?
Other than children?
Yeah, children of God. I mean, we're his children.
Okay. Now give me the book of St. John. Go to chapter 10 and verse 3. Right? Watch this.
St. John chapter 10 and verse 3.
Right?
To him the porter openeth,
This is talking about the Lord. Right? The porter opens us to the Lord, meaning there's no secret with the Most High God. He knows everything. We know that. Right? Read on.
and the sheep hear his voice.
And the who?
And the sheep hear his voice.
We know that God's sheep is going to hear his voice. Right? Read on.
And he calleth his own sheep
Read.
by name.
By what?
By name.
By what?
By name.
What is the name of the sheep? Because guess what? Children is just an attribute or a title. What is the name of those children that God gave them in the Bible? What is that name? Let's find out who the name of the sheep is. Yeah, bring it out.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 50,
Give me Matthew.
verse 17. Israel,
What the Lord say?
Israel
Read on.
is a scattered sheep.
So we know that the sheep is who? Israel.
Bingo.
Right? Bring that out.
Matthew chapter 15 and verse 24.
That's one witness. Let's get a second witness.
But he answered and said,
But he answered and said, now this is the Lord speaking. Read on.
I am not sent
I am only sent. That's what that means. Right? This is the King's English. Right? Read on.
but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
The house of what?
Of the house of Israel.
The name of those children is Israel, the Israelites. The real Israelites. Now, who are the Israelites? Because God just said, the Lord, that I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. How did they become lost, and how do they become found? Let's show you, right? Give me the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. Give me Jeremiah 17 and 4, real quick.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4.
Bring it
Let's see
out.
what the Lord said,
And thou, even thyself,
right?
shalt discontinue
Now
from...
we know that Jeremiah is a prophet, right? So he's about to prophesy about this lost sheep, right? That you said are the children, that we now know them by name, proper name, the Israelites, right? Read that again.
And thou, even thyself,
Read.
shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
What's going to happen to the lost sheep?
Shall discontinue from thy heritage.
So they're going to hold on to it forever.
Shall discontinue from thy heritage.
The prophecy is that they're going to lose their heritage. They're no longer going to be associated with what God called them. Shall discontinue from thy heritage. Read on.
That I gave thee.
No, that they gave themselves.
That
I
I
gave
gave
thee.
That God gave. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
So the prophecy is they're gonna lose their heritage and be caused to serve their enemies. Be in servitude. Be a servant. Be a slave. Right? Read on.
In the land.
Where is this gonna happen at?
In the land.
Read on.
Which thou knowest not.
What race of people does that sound like? They're going to be caused to lose their heritage, right? Be caused to serve their enemies in a land that they didn't know about. What race of people does that sound like? right. So-called black people. Now, guess what? The pastor never told you that. He never just read that off the paper and said, hey, guess what? This is what the prophecy said, that a race of people, they're going to lose their heritage. They're going to be called to serve their enemies in a land that they didn't know about.
Right.
Right? So let's show you some more. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 1. Right? Let's show you that it's emphatically talking about the so-called black men. Because we know that black is a color.
Right.
Right? So let's see what God said in the Bible. Bring it up.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
These are the words of the covenant.
These are the what?
These are the words of the covenant.
These are the words of the covenant. This contract. Chiefly this entire Bible. Right? Who is the Lord speaking to in this Bible?
Which the Lord commanded Moses
Right?
to make with the children of Israel.
Now we know about Moses, right? Now Moses is famous for what? Everybody know Moses for being famous for doing what? Letting the people out of Egypt, right? He went in there, he did his thing. The Lord told him what to do. You know, he was confident. He was a little kind of weary at first, but he did what the Lord told him to do, and he freed them out of Egypt, right? So he freed the Israelites out of Egypt. So after that Exodus, after he freed them, let's see what the Lord said what happened to the Israelites. Give me Deuteronomy 11 and 26.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 26.
Right? Read on.
Behold, I set before you this day.
Now Moses was a prophet as well.
Right.
Right? Moses wasn't just a savior where he said, let my people go. Moses played a big role in this thing. Now this is what Moses prophesied. He said what?
Behold, I set before you this day
Read on.
a blessing
Hey, what?
A blessing.
Read on.
and a curse.
He told those people that he freed, after they were freed, that you're either going to be blessed or you're going to be cursed.
Right.
Right? Read on.
A blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God.
If you do what?
If you obey the commandments
of the Lord your God.
If they obey the commandments, blessings are going to fall upon them and their children.
Right.
Right? Read on.
which I commanded you this day.
Right? What else?
And a curse.
And a what?
And a curse. If you would not obey the commandments of the Lord your God.
So what we're going to do is what? We're going to read the curses that the Lord put on the Israelites. And we're going to see if that lines up with our history.
You don't have to read it. You're not telling me anything I don't already believe.
Okay, so hold on. Before y'all leave, right? I want to read verse 68. Do you know what verse 68 says?
I don't remember the actual verse. No. Until you read it, then I'll probably will.
All right, so we're going to read it for you real quick before you leave. How did the Lord say that you would come to America?
How did he say we would come?
Yep.
I can't remember that.
All right, so guess what? Your brother's up here to show you real quick. If you give us a minute and 30 seconds.
Right.
Right, bring it out.
And the Lord.
Now this is the curse that will happen to them for being disobedient to who the Lord set up to teach them. Right? Read.
Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Right?
And the Lord
Now this is the Israelites, the chosen people. And the Lord
shall bring thee into Egypt again.
into what?
Into Egypt again.
Meaning you was freed out of Egypt, but now you're going to have to go back into Egypt. So what does the Lord mean when he said you're going to have to go back into Egypt? Back into what? Bondage. Slavery. Did your race of people go into slavery? How did your race of people get to America? By ship, right? So, ships, right? So, let's see what the Lord said. Read that again from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
What is the name of the people that God is speaking to? The Israelites. And the Lord shall bring thee into slavery again. How are they going to get there?
With ships.
On a plane.
With ships.
On a bus.
With ships.
They're going to skip.
With ships.
With ships. Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
The Atlantic slave trade. That's by the way whereof I spake unto thee. The Silk Road slave trade. That's by the way whereof I spake unto thee. The Sub-Saharan slave trade. That's by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
That's right.
Read on.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
When the last time your race of people dwelt in Jerusalem? Can't answer. Because God said you'll never see it again.
Right.
Read on.
And there
When you get off of the slave ships, and there,
ye shall be sold.
who are we sold to, family? there you shall be sold,
unto your enemies,
best friends,
Unto your enemies.
unto your enemies. Thus saith the Lord. So the so-called white man is your enemy.
That's right.
Right, read on.
for bondmen,
Slave Negro man now. I'm going to change your name to Toby. Right, read.
and bondwomen,
Read.
and no man shall buy you.
Now, you came up to us, and if we would have asked you your national, I said, what is our name? You said, I don't know. So no man has redeemed us from this captivity as
Right.
of yet. So according to the Bible, what did the Lord call you? That's right.
That's right.
We the Israelites. That's right. We God's chosen people. Right? And we're under these curses. So we have to do what to get out of these curses? Obey what? Who? Obey the Bible?
God's word.
God's word. Give me Leviticus 11:7. Right? Name me 3 commandments that we have to obey before y'all leave.
Thou shalt not kill.
That's one.
Have false witnesses against us. Thou shalt obey thy mother and thy father.
All right, you got 2 of them. Y'all can help her out.
Honor the Sabbath day.
Honor the Sabbath day. That's 3. So we're going to give you 3. Okay? Give me Leviticus 11:7.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 7.
Right, listen to this.
And the swine.
And the who?
And the swine.
Y'all know what swine is? Pork. Right? When the last time y'all had some good old pork?
This morning.
All right, now guess what? This is what God said. In the swine,
Though he divide the hoof
although he has characteristics of a clean beast.
and be cloven footed,
Read on.
yet he cheweth not the
He
cud.
doesn't properly digest his food. Right? It only has 1 stomach. Right? Contrary to like the cow, they have 4 digestive stomachs. Read on.
He is unclean to you.
No, you can eat that bacon.
He is unclean to
No,
you.
you can eat them pork skins.
He is unclean to you.
God said it's unclean to you.
Right.
Said in the New Testament, don't call anything that he's clean as good.
Did
It's
you-
all good is unclean.
Did you read verse 21, the verse
I
28?
read it all.
You read-
Now I'm gonna go because I do believe that we are the children of Israel, but I've got to go.
So, sister, we up here to help you, sister. What does verse 28 say in the book of Acts, the 10th chapter that you quote?
Gotta go.
Sister, hold on, sister. Come here. Come here, sister.
You have to convince me I'm already a child of God.
You're already a child of God?
Yes, my father's a minister, my grandmother was a minister.
I'll give you 1 John chapter 2. So you know God then?
Of course, that's why I make you quote my scriptures to you.
Okay, give me
I don't know all of them because I don't believe that you have to be saved to quote all of those scriptures. But I do know the Bible.
Right.
First John chapter 2 and verse 3.
Right?
And hereby we do know that we know him.
So you said that you know God.
Right.
But God said that there's a strategic way to identify if somebody knows God. Right? Because anybody can kind of, well, I know God. I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. Run around the church, do a cartwheel, do their thing. Well, let's see what God said.
If we keep his commandments.
If we what?
If we keep his commandments.
That's how you know God. If you keep his commandments. Read on.
He that saith I know him
Read on.
and keepeth not his commandments is a liar.
So, can you eat pork as an Israelite?
According to the Bible, it's unclean because God sent all of the evil spirits into the cow, into him, and they went over the cliff.
Not necessarily true. It's unclean because it's in the laws that you cannot eat in the land. So, give me Deuteronomy 22:5. Give me Deuteronomy 22:5.
Deuteronomy chapter 22.
Now, we receive this salvation. How do we receive this salvation? How do we receive salvation? What did the Lord say we have to do to receive salvation?
Treat others the way that you would like to be treated.
Treat
Spread
others.
his word.
Spread his word. All right, real quick, sister. Give me the book of Matthew, chapter 19, and verse 6.
Matthew chapter 19 and verse 16.
Hold on, sister. You kind of creeping up out of here, sister.
I'm listening because you can't test my faith because I know.
No, sister, we're not testing your
Not
faith.
testing your faith.
Right, bring
It's
it
not
out.
testing me because I know.
Okay, all
I
right.
live it and preach it every day.
All right, sister, watch this.
And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life?
And have it more abundantly.
Sister, God said, Satan would. Right, read on.
And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one,
Right.
that is God.
Read on.
But if thou wilt enter into life,
Sister, you want salvation, right? You want salvation, right, sister? Don't you want everlasting life? All right, what do we have to do to get it?
but if thou wilt enter into life,
Let's see what the Lord said. Let's see if what he said, or let's see if what you said is correct, right? Or we have to minister people and, you know, what you said. Let's see what God said.
keep the commandments.
Do what?
Keep the commandments.
How to receive salvation?
Keep the commandments.
The Lord said out of his own mouth that if you want this salvation that we all claim, that people claim that they have already, what do we have to do?
Keep
So let me show you a commandment real quick. One more. Give me Deuteronomy 22:5.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5.
What's your name, sister? All right, Sister Stephanie, listen to this.
The woman,
The who?
The woman.
Sister Stephanie, you're a woman, right? No offense, but you know, in the last days you gotta ask, right? Read on.
the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Do you understand that verse? What does God mean when he said that?
So you're trying to tell me I can't wear my pants.
No, I'm not trying to tell you anything.
You're saying that it's in the Bible that I can't wear pants.
No, I'm not saying anything. We're reading the oracles of God. And you gotta go on now. Come on, sister. You see, can you prove that to me? Come on, sister.
I'll pray for you.
No, sister, we don't want you to pray for us. Give me Proverbs 28, right? And go to verse 9, right? And give me St. John chapter 9 and verse 31, right?
Book of
See,
Proverbs.
the world always want to say, well, I'm going to pray for you. As if the Lord is just hearing your prayer, man. Everybody think that they have the ability to just pray to the Most High God and that the Lord is just going to answer their prayers.
Correct way to pray.
Right? Yeah, man, it's an order to everything, right? You don't just walk up in the store and just grab all the food and just walk out. It's an order, man. So you got to go through a process on how these things work, right? You know, you can't go in the store and just grab it. You got to get you a cart. You understand? You got to kind of, you know, nowadays you got to kind of clean the cart off, right? Then you kind of walk through, right? There's signs, right? You got to go to the right place. Or you might get the wrong thing in the store, right? And then after you're done, what you got to do? You got to go to checkout, man. Then you go to checkout, then you got to wait in line. Can't just skip everybody, or else you might get shot, right? You might get shot, especially if you're in Walmart, man, right? You're bound to get shot if you skip the line, right? In the face, right? So then you got to go through the line, and then the lady, you know, you kind of got to, you know, and then you check out, man, right? What's going on, brother? Right? Let me ask you a question, King. You believe in God, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, what color is God?
God is black. African American, sir.
You said African American?
Yes, sir.
Are you African American?
Yes, sir.
All right, who taught you that?
I've always learned it. Well, I always felt like that. It's from the Middle East, right?
It's from the Middle East. All right, give me the book of Hebrews 7 and 14. All right, let's see if God called the Middle East African American. All right?
Book of Hebrews, chapter 4.
Nah, I went on Galatians, right? Yeah.
Book of Galatians chapter 4 and verse 26. But Jerusalem,
But who?
But Jerusalem.
No African American.
But Jerusalem.
Read on.
which is above, is free,
Read.
which is the mother of us all.
No, African American is the mother of us all.
Which is the
mother of us all.
God said Jerusalem is the motherland. So again, who taught you that you was African American?
United States.
The so-called white man taught you that.
Okay.
Right? Just like how he told you that this was Jesus or God. Right? And then prior to that, he taught your grandmother that she was a good old colored gal. Right? That's what happened in America, right? Right? So now what happened? Now we're suffering from all the post-traumatic slavery that happened to us in America.
PTSD.
Right? Brother said PTSD. Right? So let's find out why. Are we at the bottom of society or are we at the top of society?
Bottom right now.
We at the bottom. So give me the book of Psalms chapter 107. Right? And go to verse 10. Right? And give me the book of Psalms chapter 105 and go to verse 19. Right? Listen to this, brother.
The book of Psalm,
Give me
chapter
Genesis 40 and 15, brother Doc.
107 and verse 10.
Right?
Such as sit in darkness,
Such as what?
Such as sit in darkness.
Read on.
and in the shadow of death,
Read.
being bound in affliction.
What happened to us?
Being bound in
You
affliction.
see this, brother? Isn't this bound in affliction, in iron, in chains? Bound in affliction. This actually happened. Where are we reading this out of? In the Bible. That the God said that somebody was sitting in darkness. Look at this. What is this right here? Isn't it dark in there? Did we have a flashlight? The Lord said somebody was sitting in darkness, bound in affliction. Right? Read on.
Being bound in affliction
Read.
and iron.
In what?
And
iron.
In iron.
You in.
Right? They called it the chain gang. They put you in chains, right? And they shipped you off to different plantations. Right? Where can we find this history at? Where did the Lord prophesy that would happen to us at? In the Bible. Bring it out, King. Genesis 40 and 15.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 15.
Right? Read.
For indeed I was stolen away.
What happened to our race of people?
For indeed I was stolen away.
Where were we stolen from? Read on.
Out of the land of the Hebrew.
Brother, is this facts or is that false? That a particular people was stolen away. What is the name of that particular people that was stolen away? Because it can't. Say that again? So-called, right? But this is what you have to understand. There's many races on the earth that are colored or that have melanin. When is the last time you see the Arab man? A so-called Arab man. Doesn't he have melanin? Doesn't he have color? Yes, sir. What about the East Indian man with the dot on it? Why they don't call themselves colored or black or African American? Because they know who they are, brother. But you don't. Why are they changing your name every 10 to 15 years? Is there something special about you that they got to lie to you about? Or they just lying to you just because?
Lying to me just because?
Well, they lying to you, brother, because there's something special
That's
about
about
you.
you.
Right? And let's show you. Right? Give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7.
Bring it out.
Right? Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 14 and 2.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 2.
Good? All right, listen to this.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
The Lord said there's a chosen race that's holy unto him, set apart. He made them different. What race of people has the best athletes? What race of people got the best food? Who got the best food? Who got the best dancers? Who dressed the best? Who's the smartest? Us, brother. So God said that he created somebody that's different than everybody else on the earth.
Right.
Read on.
And the Lord hath chosen
And
thee
he chose this race of people. Read on.
to be a peculiar people.
To be a peculiar people. You know what the word peculiar means, brother? Special, right? It means unique, right? Now, everybody on the earth isn't unique, right? I mean, you could just look around, brother. Those people aren't unique. Look at them, right? They do anything. They just do anything. But, hey, maybe your race, you might be that unique race that God created, right? So let's find out what the Lord said about that. Give me Deuteronomy 11 and 26. Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 28, 15.
Deuteronomy 28:15.
Right, listen to this, brother.
But it shall come to pass.
When anytime in the Bible and it says, but it shall come to pass, right? It means that it may not happen 5 years from now. It may not happen 10, 100. But guess what? It's going to happen in the future. It could be 1,000 years from now. It could be 4,000 years from now. So God said through his prophet Moses, this is Moses speaking. He said what?
But it shall come to pass.
But it shall come to pass
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
read,
to observe, to do all his
know
commandments,
some of his commandments.
to do
All his commandments.
Read on.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
What's going to happen? Do you know who this is talking to? We got to show you. Give me Deuteronomy 1 and 1 real quick. Right? Because he said, it shall come to pass if they do not listen to do the statutes. So let's get you the name of the people that he's speaking to. Bring it out.
Book of Deuteronomy,
Right.
chapter 1, verse 1.
Right, read.
These be the words
These be the words
which Moses spake
which Moses spake.
unto all Israel.
Who's being spoken to?
Unto
all Israel.
The name of the chosen people is the Israelites. Can you say that for me, King? Israelites. So go back to Deuteronomy 28:15. He said, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to do all these laws, statutes, and commandments, what's going to happen?
Which I command thee this day,
Read.
that all these curses,
All these what?
that
All these curses
Read on.
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
This chosen people that's special, that's peculiar, if they don't listen, what's going to happen to them? Curses are going to come upon them, right? So we're going to read the curses that happened to the Israelites. You let me know what race of people on the earth this sounds like. That makes sense? Give me verse 54.
Verse 54.
Right?
So that the man that is tender among you,
Now this is a curse for not keeping the commandments. He says, so that your fellow man that's tender among you, tender meaning cordial, right? Respectable, right? Read on.
and very delicate,
And very delicate. Read on.
his eye
His what?
His eye.
Read on.
shall be evil toward his brother,
No, he gonna get along with his people.
shall be evil
toward his brother.
What race of people is known for being evil towards their own race? See that? Give me some examples. Black on black crime, right? Right? You got what? Bloods and Crips, right? You got GD Vice Lord, right? You got you got BDs and GDs, right? I ain't from 63rd. I'm from 59th. See the brother? You see that? Brother be knowing what we talking about, right? You got the New York spirit, Who's versus the Choose. Right? We know about these things because we from those places. So the Lord said that this particular people, the Israelites, will have an evil eye toward his brother. Read on.
and toward the wife of his bosom,
And toward his wife. You got domestic violence. You got broken households. Right? Read on.
and toward the remnant of his children.
And toward the remnant of his children. So the man that was once a king and a priest, his whole nation has fallen because he can't get along with his nation. Right? He has an evil eye toward his brother, evil eye toward his wife, evil eye toward his children. Which what?
Which he shall leave,
So he's going to stay with his children.
Which he shall
So
leave.
he's going to raise his children.
Which he shall leave.
Damn. Who's known for leaving their children? Now, where are we reading? It's the Bible. It's what God said. There's no other race of people on the earth that can say they lead in single-parent households,
Right.
right, over your race of people. Nobody can say that. So what is everybody doing with this Bible in their hand? Why are they reading your records on the things that will happen to you? Right? Go to verse 68.
verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt
Give
again.
me Judith 5 and 11. Now, God said for not keeping the commandments, like keeping the Sabbath day, honoring your brother, your mother and your father, having no other gods before him, that the Lord is going to do what to him?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
You know about Moses, right? Moses said, Pharaoh, let my what? Let my people, let them go, right? That letting them go was some slavery. That's what he meant. So God said that he's going to bring them back into Egypt for not keeping the commandments. Last verse, right? Watch this,
Book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 11.
right?
Therefore the king of Egypt rose up against them
Right, we're going to show you what the word Egypt means, right? Read on.
and dealt subtlety with them
Read on.
and brought them low
Right.
with laboring and brick
He brought the Israelites low. Read on.
and made them slaves
What does Egypt mean?
and
made them slaves.
So when God said that he's going to bring you back into Egypt again, he said he's going to make you a slave again. How did our race of people get to America? On what? On ships, right? Now go back to Deuteronomy. Now what is the name of the people that we reading about? Israelites. So whoever fits this are what? Israelites. So read that again from the top.
And the Lord
Right.
shall bring thee into Egypt again
Slavery again.
with ships.
With what?
With
ships.
With what?
With ships.
On a plane.
With
ships.
Delta Airlines.
With ships.
American.
With ships.
Dodge Charger Hellcat.
With
ships.
With ships. Who went into slavery on slave ships? We did. Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee,
That means the same way Moses said it. Moses was a prophet. Read on.
thou shalt see it no more again.
You'll never see your homeland again. Read.
and there ye shall be
When
sold.
you get off of the slave ships, you shall be sold. Who we sold to, brother? And read.
Unto your enemies.
Unto who?
Unto your enemies.
Who did God say the white man is to us? Enemy. Read on.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
And what else?
And no man shall buy you.
So according to the Bible, what is our name? What is our nationality? That's right, brother. We the Israelites.
That's
That's
right.
That's who we are, brother. Now, how do we get out of this condition? How do we get salvation? Right? How can we stop waking up in the morning and our mindset is, the best thing that I can do is be a basketball player. The best thing I can do is be a rapper. I gotta be an entertainer. I gotta do something to help my people. Right? Why don't you change your mind and say, well, I want to own 10 cities. I want to be a ruler over 10 cities. Right? I want to have ownership of the world, the earth. I want to be a king on the earth. What do we have to do to get that back?
Invest.
Invest.
Invest in ourselves. Change our mindset.
All right, so we came in this condition, right? All of these things happened to us. George Floyd, give me Zechariah 11, and verse 5. Right, watch this. Right, Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5.
Book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them.
Now, God just said that we went on the slave ships and we became slaves. So now you have somebody that's possessed, meaning they're in the possession of somebody else, and then you have a possessor. You have an owner. So God said, who's what?
Whose possessors slay them.
Whose possessors slay them.
And hold themselves not guilty.
No, they get charged for it.
Not guilty.
Now, what does that sound like? Where somebody is over you and they get to kill you and they don't get a judgment for it. See that? So that sounds like, that's right, that sounds like Trayvon Martin, right? That sounds like thousands of the brothers that just get killed unjustly by this system here. So it's not about investing in this system, it's about investing in this word that the Lord gave you.
That's right.
Right? Because this is our knowledge and our wisdom and our understanding.
Wake them up.
So what did the Lord say we have to do to get out of this situation and to overthrow this world? We're going to show you. Bring it up.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 16.
Right, read.
And behold, one came and said unto him,
Right.
Good master.
What do you call him?
Good master.
So a young man came up to who the world calls Jesus Christ. The real name of the Messiah is Yahweh Shai in the Paleo Hebrew, right? Yahweh, meaning he shall save, he shall deliver. That's what it means, right? So a young man came up to him and said, hey, look, how do I get my people out of slavery? How do we get better as a nation? How do we get salvation, rulership, right? Let's see what the Lord answered. It said,
What good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life?
what do we want?
Eternal life.
We all want eternal life, right? Where you don't have to slave anymore and work 12-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts. You're working 70 hours in a week, right? You begging and pleading for justice and peace in the streets, right? You asking that your life matters, right? You're not asking, can I kind of get a butt? No, you asking people that and telling them that your life matters. They didn't create your life. Why you gotta ask somebody else that your life matters? You gotta ask an inferior race that go outside and get burnt in the sun that your life matters, right? Read.
Why callest thou me good?
Read.
There's none good but one.
Read on.
That is God.
And that is who?
That is God.
The only man that's good is the Most High God, the Father. And he has a name, which is Yahweh, right? In the Paleo Hebrew, meaning he exists. So you got the Father, Yahweh, and then you got his Son, who he sent, Yahweh Shai. Right? Read on.
But if thou wilt enter into life,
But if you want to get saved from America, because guess what we got to tell you, brother? These days of America is almost numbered.
Right?
Right? America is not going to stand for so much longer. Before every great kingdom was destroyed, the Lord sent out men to warn the people on what was about to happen. Right? Adam was a prophet. Noah was a prophet. Noah was prophesied of, hey, listen, it's going to rain. Nobody believed. Guess what? They all died. Right? Ezekiel was a prophet. Daniel was a prophet. Jeremiah. right? Paul was a prophet, right? Isaiah was a prophet. And they all warned people in the respective time that they lived on what was about to happen. So guess what you're going to have in America? You got the same thing all over again, right? So America's days are numbered, and it's going to get destroyed with thermonuclear destruction.
Right.
World War III will take place in America, and Fort Bragg is not going to be able to win.
That's right.
It's going to get destroyed by China, Iran, and the kings of the East. Russia. It's all prophesied in the Bible.
Right.
And guess who can get the chance of salvation? The Israelites. Look on this sign, brother. Right? These are the Israelites. When you read in the Bible about any mighty man or any woman, or you're reading about these people, these are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. The
Right.
so-called black men, the so-called Latino, Hispanic men of Negro, Indian, Israelite descent. These are the Israelites, right? So the Lord said, if you want to receive salvation, what do the Israelites got to do?
Keep the commandments.
Do what?
Keep the commandments.
How we escape Jacob's trouble?
Keep the commandments.
World War III?
Keep the commandments.
Famine?
Keep the commandments.
The Lord said, if you want to eat in that day, right, when the stores shut down, when there's a blackout, an EMP attack, no internet, right? If you want to get saved in that day and save your family, what do we got to do? Keep the commandments. It's that simple, right? Name me 3 commandments. See that? And the Lord said, be ye also ready, right? Because you know what hour the Son of Man cometh, right? So, but guess what? You live in during the time of grace. So now is the opportunity that we get to learn about these things before the Lord comes back. So we're going to show you some commandments, right? Give me Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 25. 25.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 25. And in the 5th year, 26, ye shall not eat anything with the blood.
What the Lord say?
Ye shall not eat anything with the blood.
How do you like your steak, brother? Medium rare. Who told you to eat your steak medium rare?
It's the only way I like it.
It's the only way you like it? Well, come on, brother. All right, is there blood in it? All right, what did the guy say?
Ye shall not eat anything with the blood.
So God said we can't eat anything with blood. And the Spirit told us to go to this precept. We didn't know that you kind of like your steak medium rare. We normally don't go to this precept.
Right.
Yeah, we normally kind of go to other things. But God said what? Read that one more time.
Ye shall not eat anything with the blood.
So, brother, the next time you get that steak, you know how you got to get it. Well done. Right? You can't be no blood in it, brother. Right? Not saying that it got to be burnt and, you know what I'm saying, you got to burn it. Right? Of course, sometimes when you eat meat, you'll have that little, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, a little crispy, you know what I'm saying? But, brother, you can't eat it with blood. You can't eat it rare. You can't eat it medium rare. You can't do that, brother. Right? You got to cook that thing all the way through. Right? Because guess who does that? Guess who eat things with blood? The so-called white man does. He eats people, right? He eat anything, man. Raw meat. Right? Watch this. How do you guys like your steak?
Rare.
See that? You see that? What did you see that? Yeah. Now read that one more time. And this is why the earth is out of order, man. Right? Excuse me, how do you guys like your steak? Yeah, how do you like your steak? Read that again.
Ye shall not eat anything with the blood.
So God told us we can't eat nothing with blood in it. Right? That's wicked. Right? You pick up those habits from the heathen. That's what the heathen do. Not the chosen people. We holy. This is what makes us set apart from other races. Right? This is right here. Right? You got that? Yeah, bring it out.
The book of Leviticus,
I was reading that
chapter
earlier.
17, verse 11.
Right?
For the life of the flesh
What the Lord say?
For the life of the flesh.
The life of the flesh is what?
is in the blood.
You see that? The life of the flesh is in the blood. Right? You eating blood and you eating life, man. That's going the hell off. Right? You know? Read on.
And I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls.
See that? So we will make atonement through blood or through a sacrifice. And now we have this ability to teach this to you, and you have the ability to repent because somebody sacrificed his blood for the Israelites to be able to understand this gospel in the last days. We went off. We broke the commandments. We got sent into slavery. We got hung on trees for thousands of years. Why? For breaking the commandments. But now, those days are done with. Now it's time to understand this Bible. Now it's time to understand who you are. Now it's time to come back to the Most High God and stop being nigga man.
Right.
Right? Read on.
Verse 12.
Right.
Therefore I said unto the children of Israel,
Read.
no soul of you
No soul of you, not one. Read on.
shall eat blood.
Shall what?
Shall eat blood.
Shall what?
Shall eat blood.
So, brother, today, brother, you got to put down that medium rare down. Put it down, no more. All right? Next time you go to the hey, I want it well done. All right? And if you're getting that cheap steak, you might have to save your money to get that expensive one so that you can get it well done. It's a little better. That cheap steak, the thin one is a little nasty when you get it well, but you got to get, you got to do your thing. So nothing with blood in it. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, Leviticus Chapter 11 and verse 7.
I do have to slide.
All right, one more. Last one.
Leviticus 11 and 7.
All right?
And the swine.
You know what swine is?
Pig.
Pig. When the last time you had some of that? No bacon. No meat lovers pizza.
Hamburger.
Pepperoni.
Hamburger.
All right, well, no pork then. All right, so we'll read verse 9.
Verse 9.
All right?
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
What you eat that's in the waters?
Fish.
What kind of fish?
Salmon.
Salmon? What else?
That's right here.
All right, brother, you kind of in there. You just got to straighten them up with the blood. So there was no need of going into that the first time, so the spirit was right. So, brother, you can't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. You didn't know that, but guess what? That's in the commandments. All right? Let's get the Sabbath day real quick.
Book of Exodus chapter 20.
You know
And
what the Sabbath day is? All right, let's show you.
verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
No, forget it and forsake it.
Remember the Sabbath day.
So we forgot it. So God said, remember. Read on.
To keep it holy.
To keep it set apart from the rest of the days. Read on.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
Read.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath.
When is the first day of the week, brother?
Sunday.
Sunday is the first day of the week. So when is the 7th day?
7 days should be Saturday.
That's right. So when is the Sabbath day?
Saturday.
Saturday. Simple. So when does your day begin?
Sunday.
Nope. Like when
time?
is? Yep.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. All right. That's what. Who taught you that? School. The white man. All right. Genesis 1:5. So the Lord said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now you know that the Sabbath day is when? Saturday. So let's see when our day begins.
Genesis 1 and
All
5.
right, give me Mark. Give me Mark chapter 1 and verse 32, and hold that.
And God called the light day,
Right, God called the light day. Read on.
and the darkness he called night,
Right, read on.
and the evening
Read.
and the morning were the first day,
When did God say the day begins?
and the evening
and the morning
were the first day.
God said your day begins at evening, meaning when the sun goes down. All right, that's what the word evening means. It's not 12 o'clock. How can your day start at 12 o'clock midnight? All right, why not 11? It's the same frequency of time, right? Why not 1 o'clock? That's not 12 o'clock at night, all right? So your day begins when the sun goes down. Let me prove that real quick. Yeah, hold that.
Book of Mark, chapter 1, verse 32.
Right?
And at evening,
And that evening, read on.
when the sun did set,
So the evening is when the sun sets. So that's the beginning of your day. So like when the sun goes down today, our Sabbath day is over. So our Sabbath day starts so-called Friday sundown, right? And we in Babylon, so we doing this to the best of our ability, right? So that's the Sabbath day. So the Sabbath day is when?
Friday, like afternoon.
That's right, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, right? To sum it up, you say Saturday, right? And we don't buy on the Sabbath day, we don't sell, we congregate with our people, right? We don't know working, right? But you know you're in slavery, so you gotta do the best that you can, all right? You got any questions? All right, so what is your nationality? That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right. That's right. You're Israelite. All praise. You got a flyer?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all praise. All praise. What's your name, brother?
Danye.
Brother Danya?
Danye.
Danye. All praise.
You have a good one, y'all.
All praise. One more time, brother. What's your nationality?
That's right.
We the Israelites, man. We the Israelites, man.
Right.
Right? That's who we are, man. The Lord told us we are going to take back the kingdom, man. Didn't the Lord say that? Like we would take back the kingdom. Give me that in the book of Matthew real quick. Right? Give me that in the book of Matthew real quick. Right? When the Lord said, give me Matthew chapter 11. And go to verse 12. Right? Give me Matthew 11 and 12.
Book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 12.
Give me Daniel 7 and 18. How you doing, sister? You got a second to hear a Bible verse? He said, sure. I want to show you something real quick, sister. Give me Job 30 and 30. Right?
This is the book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 30.
You believe in God? All right, now what color are the people of the Bible? All right, we're going to show you, sister. That's what we out here for. Right? We your brothers, and we out here to show you something. So watch this.
Job chapter 30 and verse 30.
Right?
My skin is black.
What did the prophet of the Lord say?
My skin is black.
Oh, my skin is pale.
My skin is black.
Oh, it's red and nasty.
My skin is black.
My skin is black and beautiful. Brown. Melanated. Glows in the sun. My skin is black, you know?
Upon me.
Right, read.
And my bones are burned with heat.
Right, and when we go outside and the sun is beaming on us, you know, we kind of get a little crispy. You get that good tan, right, sister? So who is the Lord speaking to? Did the pastor ever read you that verse and tell you that the Bible is for black people? He didn't tell you that, right? She said she, your grandma. See that? She wasn't supposed to be teaching you, right? So sister, would you like to know how to receive salvation?
I got it.
You got it?
Thank you.
All right, sister, you're an Israelite. You got to keep the commandments. See that? Eve get upset when she can't get to be an authority, man. I want to be an authority, right? You nigga man been in authority forever, right? Since the days of Adam. Man. When are my days coming? Man. That's going off, man.
They got that.
That's going off. Give me the book of Jeremiah. That's going the hell off, right? She was upset because we told her that her grandmother wasn't supposed to be teaching, man. All right, give me that in 1 Corinthians, right? And give me 1 Corinthians chapter 11. And give me 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Now, we didn't get a chance. Yeah, get that for me.
I was going to say that's what.
Yeah, bring it out.
That's why I always like to put it on the table before I even tell them that.
Bring it up. Give me, what you got? Yeah, let's take it to the side. Yeah, go ahead. Until he get down.
1 Corinthians.
Oh, you got it?
Okay.
Right,
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. And it reads, let your women keep silent in the churches.
Let your what?
Let your women keep silent in the churches.
Right, read on.
For it is not permitted unto them to speak.
Right, meaning it's a shame. Right, yeah, kind. Meaning it's a shame for the woman to speak. How you doing, brother? You got a second to hear the word of the Lord? Brother. All right, brother, you're an Israelite, God's chosen people. I believe it. Yeah, we the Israelites. Yeah, he's following.
See on the slingshot?
He's following his woman, man.
No, see on the slingshot. Look on the slingshot.
Yeah, read that again, King. Y'all got a second to hear the word of the Lord? Hey, brother.
I know that's right. Take back, listen, never bang, take another listen, y'all go
game, don't it?
Look at this way. They know what they do.
Hey, call the fag over here. Hold hands, man.
Hey, brother.
You gotta cut them up.
They don't want to come over. They don't want to come over. They don't want to come over. They don't want to come over.
Hey, come here, brother. I know you.
They don't want to come over.
You gotta cut
I
them
know
up.
you, brother. You don't remember me? Come here, brother. Brother in the white. You don't remember me? You don't remember me? Come here, brother.
Yeah, they don't want to come over. They get that money, man.
2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 1. Finally, brethren, pray for us, that the word of the Lord may have free course. May have what? May have free course. May have what? May have free course. Right, so that's all we want out here, man, is the word of the Lord have its free course, man. Like it's been doing, right? So let's go back to where we kind of left off.
Proverbs 84.
Yeah, read that now. What Brother Doc read first.
What's that?
The one that keeps silence in the church.
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 34.
No.
Now, people don't like this verse, man.
Let your women keep silent in the
You
churches.
see that? All hell break loose when you read that scripture.
Let your women keep silent in the
You
churches.
see that? Even the other nations don't like that verse.
For it is not
Like, and see, she's getting upset. That verse not even talking to her, man. And she's getting upset. It don't even belong to you, right? So all hell break loose when you start bringing down the order of how things go, man. Right? Give me 1 Corinthians 11 real quick, right? Let's get the order of this thing. This is preliminary, simple, basic understanding, man. But the world seems as though they can't get down with this, man. This is why the Lord is gonna utterly overthrow America, right? Come on, bring it out,
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3.
right?
But I will have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach,
Right?
and the head of the woman is man.
And the head of what?
The woman is
Is
the
man.
man.
The head of the woman is the man, right? And everybody gonna know that in these last days. How y'all doing, family? Y'all believe in God? All right, let me ask you something. What color are the people in the Bible? What race is the people that you read about in the Bible? What you say? You said white? You said white? All right, now who taught you that? All right, so we gotta show you. Let's find out what race of people that this Bible is written by and written to. Let's find out.
This is the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5.
Right?
I am black.
I am what?
I
am black.
I am what?
I am black.
Read on.
But comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Did y'all hear that? What did it say? I am black. So why is it that you was taught that the people of the Bible are not this? So what we gotta do is show you the truth. Right? Read it again.
I am black, but comely.
You know what the word comely means? It means handsome or beautiful. So it says, I'm black and beautiful. I'm black and proud. Right? So they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that this Bible, from Genesis to Revelations, is your history. Right? Read on.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem, read.
As the tents of Kedar.
Right?
As the curtains of Solomon.
Read.
Look not upon me, because I am black.
Hey, don't look down upon me because I got this melanin, right? And when I go outside in the sun, I get a little darker, I get a tan. Don't judge me for that, right? Read on.
Because the sun hath looked upon me.
Right, because the sun is a radiation of what they call vitamin D, and it gives you your proper nutrients,
That makes sense? All right, let's show you another one. Give me Jeremiah 8:21. Yeah, go ahead.
Book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30.
Right? What color are the people in the Bible? What color are the people in the Bible? All right, see, so she told the truth. All right, she kind of told the truth. She said a lot darker than me, but she didn't tell the absolute truth. Let's see the absolute truth. Bring it out.
My skin is black.
What the Lord say?
My skin is black.
Read it again.
My skin is black.
Why didn't they tell you that in Sunday school? Right? Why didn't they teach you that in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third, senior in high school? Right? How old are y'all? 19, 17. 19 years, 17 years, and you never knew that this was your history book. Right? You went through all them years of school, you learned about the Odyssey, right? You know, you read Harry Potter books, you understand? You read Clifford and the Big Red Dog, right? You read all those books, right? Hungry Caterpillar. But guess what? You didn't read the Bible. They didn't tell you that this book is your history book.
That's right.
So what is your race in the Bible? What did God call your race of people? Did he call you African Americans or black people? Let's show you. All right, we gotta show you. All right, give me Acts 17 and 26 first.
Book of
Get
Acts.
straight to it. Deuteronomy. Acts 17, 26.
Book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 26.
Right, listen to this.
And have made of one blood all nations of men.
All what?
All nations of men.
Out of one blood came different races of people. We know that one blood is Adam, right? So nations and different races of people were formulated. So you have to find out what's your race, what's your nationality. All right, give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Listen to this and listen real good. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all stand a little closer so I don't have to scream?
There you
All right? Watch this.
For thou art an holy people.
What did the God say?
For thou art a holy
The
people.
word holy means set apart, separate, different. There's one race of people, they just different than everybody else. They do everything different. Their hair is different. Their spirit is different. Read on.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Right, read.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
No, he chose everybody.
Hath
Chosen thee.
He chose this one race of people, read on.
to be a special people
And they're special, read on.
unto himself,
Right?
above all people.
No, everybody's the same.
Above all people.
What race of people do you think is above every other race of people? That's what God just said. Did you hear it? Read it one more time.
Above all people
That are what?
that are upon the face of the earth.
There's a race of people that God created that's better than the other races. Who might that be? Let me ask you. Who's the fastest race of people? Who's the fastest on the earth? Who's the most athletic? Who can dance the best? Who cooks the best? See what I'm getting at? So God said there's somebody they created that's better than everybody else. So who could that be? We're going to show you. Give me Deuteronomy 1 and 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1.
Right?
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Y'all heard of Moses before? So Moses said he spake to who?
Unto all Israel.
Who is Moses speaking to? All of Israel. That's right. So Israel is the name of the chosen people. That's that chosen people that's better than everybody else. Israel. Can y'all say that? The Israelites. Right? That's the name of the chosen people. Now give me Deuteronomy 11 and 26. Right? Let's see what God said. Right? Bring this out.
Deuteronomy 11 and 26.
Right? Watch this. Listen to, what's your name, sister? Say it again. Azaria. What's your name? Nick? Darian. All right? Derek? Oh, okay, Derek and Azaria. Right? Listen to this. I messed it up. Oh, Nazariah, Salaki. Right? Nazariah and Derek. Right? Watch this.
Behold, I set before you this day.
Right now, this is a prophet by the name of Moses, speaking to the chosen people, the Israelites. Read on.
A blessing.
A what?
A
blessing.
Read on.
And a curse.
Read.
A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God.
He's speaking to one race of people and told them if they keep the commandments, blessings are going to come upon them. Read on.
Which I command you this day.
Read.
And a curse.
And a what?
And a curse.
A curse is a bad thing, right? And a curse.
If you will not obey the commandments.
So God is going to put curses on a chosen race if they don't keep the commandments. Right? So we're going to read the curses that happen to the chosen people. You let me know if this fits your race of people. If it does, you'll be a part of the chosen race. Right? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, go to verse 16.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 16.
Now we're reading about the Israelites. We're reading about the Jews. Right? Read this, bring it out.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
What the Lord say what happened to the Israelites?
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Read it again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
God said that the Israelites will be cursed in the city. How are your race of people living in the cities right now? In any city across the globe. How are your race of people living? You said what? Poor. Read it again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Meaning you won't have ownership in these cities. You're going to be a slave in these cities. You're going to be the last hired and the first fired in these cities. You're going to be told what you qualify for and what you can't qualify for. That's what's going to happen to you if you break the commandments. Israelites, read on.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
In the where?
In the field.
In the where?
In the field.
In the field. What race of people was cursed in the fields? Huh?
African American.
See that? So-called African American. Because you got to remember, African American didn't come about until 1980 something, when Jesse Jackson coined that term.
That's right.
Right? So that's a new word. And then it's two continents. How can you be from Africa and America? It's impossible. And you can't be African because African is a name by a so-called white man. Leo Scipios Africanus.
That's right.
Right? They surnamed that land after him. So they lied to you guys. They lied to you. Right? So God said the Israelites will be cursed in the city and cursed in the field if they don't keep the commandments. Right? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and go to verse 54. Right? Listen to this.
Verse 54.
Now this pertains to the chosen people. Right? God created a chosen race on the earth, and this is what's going to happen to them for their disobedience. Right? Bring it out.
So that the man that is tender among you,
What the Lord say?
So that the man that is tender among you
Read on.
and very delicate,
The man that once was cordial and delicate to you. Read on.
his eyes
His what?
His eye.
Read on.
shall be evil towards his brother.
What race of people is known for having an evil eye towards their own race? Who has the answer? What race of people in society right now are known for having an evil eye toward their own race of people? Does anybody have the answer? Be honest. You don't have to sugarcoat anything. Be transparent. So-called African Americans, right? They have an evil eye toward their own people, right? That's why you have a thing called gang banging. You hear about it in your rap music, right? Little Dirk, right? FBG Duck, Quando Rondo, right? They know about it. NBA Youngboy, Little Baby, right? So God said a race of people is going to have an evil eye toward their own race of people, right? Read on.
And towards the wife of his bosom.
And he's going to have an evil eye toward his wife, right? Read on.
And towards the remnant of his children,
And toward his children, which what?
which he shall leave.
No, he's going to stay.
which he shall leave.
What race of people is known for having single-parent households? Is it the so-called white man? Who's known for that? Who? So-called African American. Now remember, that name is not in the Bible, right? So we have to find out who God is speaking to, right? So go to verse 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, into Egypt again.
What the Lord say?
Into Egypt again.
Read it again from the top.
And the Lord
shall bring thee into Egypt again.
God said for the chosen people breaking the commandments, they're going to have to go into Egypt again, right? What were the chosen people doing in Egypt when Moses said, Pharaoh, let my people go? Does anybody have the answer? When Moses went up in there and said, hey, Pharaoh, hey, let my people go. What was the condition of the Israelites in ancient Egypt when Moses said that? Hey, brother in the black shirt, you have that answer? Does anybody have that answer? What were the people doing in Egypt when Moses said, let my people go? We got to show you real quick. All right, bring it out.
Book of Judah.
Now give me Exodus 20 and 2.
Book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Right, listen to this.
I am the Lord thy God,
Right?
which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt,
Out of the land of Egypt, read on.
out of the house of bondage.
What is Egypt?
Out of the house of bondage.
Sister, what's Egypt? The house of what? Read it again. Out of the what?
Out of the house of bondage.
Egypt is what?
Out of the
House of bondage.
What is Egypt? House of bondage. Did your race of people ever go into bondage? Meaning slavery. How did your people get to America? What part of transportation did your race of people use to get to America? You know, Derek, how did our race of people get to America? Well, did we fly on an airplane? They walked across the Pacific Ocean.
The Atlantic Ocean?
Oh, the Atlantic Ocean. How do we get across the Atlantic Ocean?
Slave trade.
Through what, brother? Ships. Do y'all know about that? Y'all know about slavery? Y'all know about the transatlantic slave trade? So we're about to read it in the Bible. All right? Now, before we read this, what is the name of the people that God is speaking to? It starts with the I. Who? Who? Israelites.
That's right.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Real good. Right? From the top.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Wow. Let's go.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
Now this is going to happen to the Israelites if they don't keep the commandments. And you let me know who this fits. Let me know if it fit the Chinese man. Let me know if it fit the so-called white man. You know, let me know who this fits. Bring it out.
And the Lord,
And the who?
And the Lord
Read on.
shall bring thee into Egypt again
Slavery again. How they going to get there?
with ships.
On a plane.
With ships.
On a bus.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
What people went into slavery on slave ships? So-called African Americans. Right? Now, it's really talking about the Israelites. This is talking about the Israelites. Everybody didn't go into slavery on slave ships. Right? The Egyptians that are so-called, that are dark people, they didn't go into slavery on slave ships.
That's right.
You got other dark races on the earth that this don't pertain to. You got the East Indian man, that he's dark. He didn't go into slavery on slave ships. So what nation of people is this talking to? It's talking to you so-called African Americans. You so-called Negroes, who are actually the children of Israel. You
Right.
so-called Hispanic and Latino Native Americans. Right? With ships, read on.
By the way, whereof I spake unto thee,
The Atlantic slave trade is prophesied in the Bible. The sub-Saharan slave trade is prophesied in the Bible. And what else? The Silk Road slave trade, prophesied in the Bible.
That's right.
Right? Read on.
thou shalt see it no more again.
The Lord said you'll never see your homeland again for breaking the commandments, for not keeping the Sabbath day, for serving other gods, right? For being a lesbian or a homosexual. All of these things are breaking God's commandments, which is the reason that our race of people is still at the bottom of society.
Wake 'em up.
This is why we get gunned down by the police. This is why we live in the projects and the slums.
That's
It's
right.
not that hard. All we have to do is keep God's commandments. But if you continue to break them, these are the things that's going to happen to us. Continue. Read on.
And
there when you get off of the slave ships,
ye shall be sold.
no, you're going to be free.
Ye shall be sold.
What happened when we got off the slave ships?
Ye shall be sold.
Who are we sold to when we got off the slave ships? Well, that's right. We were sold to the so-called white people. Now let's see what God calls them in the Bible. And there,
Ye shall be sold
you shall be sold
unto your enemies.
to who?
Unto your enemies.
What does God call them?
Unto your enemies.
Who are those people to us according to God? That's right. Because your friends wouldn't hang you on trees, would they? They wouldn't play games like hit the nigger baby. They wouldn't take your Hebrew name and change your name to an English name. They wouldn't do that. Right? They would tell you that you're the Israelites. They wouldn't give you philosophies and an education system that has destroyed your people, and a religion system that has destroyed the minds and the race of your people.
That's
they wouldn't
right.
do that. Right? Read on.
For bond man,
Slave nigger man now. Now you're gonna be a nigger man, gang banging against yourself. Now you're gonna go to the Christian church and get taught incorrectly and get touched by the Christian pastor and the deacon. Right? Now you're all freaked out. Read on.
and bond woman.
And they put our women in slavery too. Right? Now you thinking that you could be a pastor. Right? Now you're thinking that you could be a bishop over the congregation of men. Right? Read on.
And no man shall buy you.
And Martin Luther King tried to save us, it didn't work. Malcolm X tried to save us, it didn't work. Marcus Garvey, the Black Panther Party. All these people tried to save us, but it never worked. Right? So the only thing that's gonna work, how do we get ourselves out of this condition? What's gonna work? If God said we broke the commandments, that's how we came into all of this, what do we have to do? Somebody got the answer. I got faith in you. If the reason why we in this condition and we went to slavery on slave ships for breaking the commandments, what must we do to get out of this condition? You got it, sister. We broke the commandments. The Lord judged us. If we want to get out of this condition, what we got to do? Keep the
faith.
All right, a little bit. We're gonna show you though.
Look at Matthew.
Brother said it. We're gonna show you. Give me yeah, bring it out. Brother said we gotta keep the commandments. Give me Revelation 14 and 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 12.
Right?
Here's the patience of the saints.
Right. We've been patiently waiting for the Lord to come and save us. Your grandma was in the field singing, Lord, come and save us. Every Sunday they in the Christian church talking about, we need you, Lord, come by here. Right? Here is the patience of the saints. Read on.
Here are they that keep the commandments of God
Read on.
and the faith of Jesus.
And we need the faith. Right? And get up on the information. Right? So we need to keep the commandments and the faith. Right? So name me 3 commandments that we gotta keep. 3 commandments that we have to keep as the Israelites. Three commandments. It could be any one. Just pick any one. 3. I just need 3. That's one of them. That's a good one. That's 2. That's 3. That's a mighty one. That was a good one. That's a good one. Right? Yeah, that's a good one. So, we're going to give you 3. All right? 3 that you may not have known about. So give me Leviticus 11 and 7. Because God said if you want to receive salvation, you have to keep the commandments.
That's right.
If you want to see the liberation of your people, you can't be selfish, but you have to keep these commandments. Right? Bring it out.
Book of Leviticus.
Hey, brother, you want a flyer, brother? Get a brother a flyer.
You got one.
All right, brother. What's your nationality, brother? What's your nationality? That's what God said. Man of God. And y'all kind of slipping up out of here. Y'all kind of slipping up out of here. Get these commandments real quick before y'all leave. Trying to slip up out of here, man. All right, hold on. Listen to this, man.
Leviticus
11 and 7.
chapter 11, verse 7. And the swine.
Y'all know what swine is? All right. So if y'all would have walked off, y'all could have got jammed up. If you don't know what swine is, God said this about swine. Read that.
And the swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven footed,
You know what?
yet he cheweth not the cud.
This animal is called the swine. It doesn't properly digest its food. That's what that means. You know what?
He is unclean to you.
No, you can eat the swine.
He is unclean to you.
This animal, you cannot eat it. Guess what this animal is? It's pork, bacon, pork skins,
Hamburger.
all right? Yeah, red hot dogs. When the last time y'all had some pork? Bacon, piece of meatloaf. When last time y'all had that? What? You said yesterday. So guess what yesterday you was in? You was in sin yesterday. And you didn't even know it. You was in sin. You disappointed the Most High God. But now you have a chance to learn the truth and to not do that anymore. He is unclean to you. Read on.
Of his flesh shall ye not eat,
You cannot eat swine. Read on.
and their carcass shall ye not touch.
And you can't touch it. Read.
They are unclean to you.
They are unclean to us. Right? So no more swine. No more pork on your fork. Is that hard to do? Is that hard to stop eating pork, bacon? So if God said you can't do it, are you going to do it from this day forward? Can't do it. Alright? So that would be called repentance. The Most High God will be pleased at that. Alright? So that's one commandment. We're going to get you another. Verse 9.
Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the water.
What do you eat in the waters? Anything that come out of the waters, what do you eat? You eat, what you eat? Like regular salmon, bass, what else? Shrimp. Let's see if we can eat the tilapia, the shrimp, the bass, and the salmon. Let's see which ones we can eat and which ones we can't eat. Bring that out.
Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the water,
Fins and scales. Read on.
in the sea,
Read on.
in the rivers,
Right?
them shall ye eat.
It has to have fins and scales on it. Does shrimp have fins and scales on it? So God said, if you want to eat something in the waters, that's to have fins and scales on it.
That's right.
Why did God say that? Because you can properly clean that fish. You can scale it off, you can properly clean it, cook it properly, you can eat it. Right, read on? And whatsoever,
Okay.
and whatsoever have not.
Okay.
And all that have not
And all that have not,
fins and scales
right, read on?
in the sea,
Right,
and in the rivers,
read on?
of all that move in the water,
Read.
and of any living thing
Right, listen to this. Read on.
which is in the water,
Read.
they shall be an abomination.
What is shrimp?
They
shall be an abomination.
What is crab?
They shall be an abomination.
So shrimp doesn't have fins and scales on it. So crab, you can't eat crab. You can't eat lobster. Right? Why? Because those are sea bottoms. They dwell at the bottom of the sea. The pig is a cleansing mechanism for the earth. It eats trash, dead carcasses. Why do you think your race of people leads in diabetes, gout, high blood pressure? It's because they eat the unclean foods that God said we're not supposed to eat. So we dying every day for not knowing our Bible. It's that simple. That makes sense? All right, so that's 2 commandments. We got one more for you.
Hey, can you get it
All right?
five?
Give me Leviticus 18 and 22.
18.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 22.
Right? Now listen to this.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind.
Can y'all hear? All right, come a little closer real quick. This is the last one. I want y'all to hear this. Right, read on.
Thou shalt not lie with mankind
Read.
as with womankind.
Read on.
It is an abomination.
Do y'all agree with that? The Lord said, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. Right? What is that talking about? We as people. I'm explaining. Right? Read it one more time. Leviticus 20. Read
Thou
it.
shalt not lie with mankind.
Lie meaning sex. That's what it means. Thou shalt not have sex with mankind. Read on.
As with womankind.
Right, read on.
It is an abomination.
So what it is saying is a man can't lie with another man. He can't have sex with another man as he would do with a woman.
Right?
What is the purpose of a man and a woman? To reproduce. So, y'all know Little Nas X? Now, what are they doing on the TVs now in the last days with Little Nas X? They're pushing it to who? The children. Are you think they're purposefully doing that? Are you think that's by coincidence or accident? No, they're trying to destroy your race of people.
That's right.
The Israelites. So if your men don't produce with other women, guess what's going to happen to our race? We're going to go extinct. They don't want us to be in rulership. They want to destroy you as a king on the earth.
Right?
They don't want you to be a king on the earth. They don't want you to know who you are, Brother Derek. They don't want you to know the truth. This government has hidden everything from you, brother.
That's right.
But guess what? We your brothers and we gonna give it back to you, brother.
That's right.
So you a king on the earth, brother. And you can't be like how this world told us that we can be. Does that make sense? And you a princess on the earth.
Right.
And you have to stand up for righteousness. Because you come from a royal bloodline. And God loves y'all. And he can forgive y'all. And he can wipe away the sorrow from your heart that you experienced in America. So read that again. What did God say? This is what God said. Right? Listen to this. Read it again.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 22.
Right, read.
Thou shalt not lie.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt not lie.
Thou shalt not lie. Read on.
With mankind.
Read on.
As with womankind.
This is what God said that is. It is what?
It is an abomination.
That is a very wicked thing. And you are not for your people if you do that. Right? So do y'all agree with God? Do you agree with God, Brother Derek? Right? So guess what we have to do? We have to follow that commandment. Right? Is that hard to do, Brother Derek? It's not hard to do, right? Do you have the ability to do that, to follow that commandment? And you can do that, right? Give me Philippians 4 and 13. Right, real quick. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. Have you experienced with homosexuality in America? You haven't experienced that ever? All right. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 6.
4:17.
Yeah, 4 and 13.
4:13.
All right, y'all listen to this, sisters.
The book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13.
Right, read.
I can do all things
Read on.
through Christ.
Right, we can do all these commandments.
Right.
Because the Lord gave us the ability to do so. Do y'all believe that? So no shrimp, right? No crab, no pork, right? None of that, right? So what else can't we do that we just told y'all? Yeah, but the man and woman thing, Right? Y'all know what the Sabbath day is?
Sunday.
Sunday. What is this? What do you say? What is the Sabbath day? Day of rest. All right, give me Exodus 28 and 8. Let's find out when the Sabbath day is. What day is the Sabbath day on? She says, sister says Sunday. Y'all agree? Sunday? All right, so let's find out. Can y'all hear me? Come a little closer.
Yeah, right there.
Right, listen to this. Right, bring it up.
Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8.
Right, listen to this real good. All right? Bring it out.
Remember the Sabbath day.
What the Lord say?
Remember the Sabbath day.
God said, remember the Sabbath day. Because he knew during the chronology of time that people are going to forget the Sabbath day. You're not going to remember when the proper Sabbath day is. Remember the Sabbath day, read on.
To keep it holy.
To keep this day different from the rest of your days. Read on.
6 days shall thou labor.
You got 6 days to labor to do all the things that you want to do. Read on.
And do all thy work.
Read.
But the seventh day.
The what?
The seventh day.
Read on.
Is the Sabbath.
When is the first day of the week? What is the first day of the week? Monday.
Well, Sunday, technically.
Technically. So when is the seventh day of the week?
Saturday. It would be Saturday.
So what did God say?
The Sabbath day would be over.
And when is the Sabbath day?
Sunday. Yes.
Read it again.
But the seventh day.
The what day?
The seventh day.
The seventh day. So again, when is the first day of the week?
Sunday.
So when is the seventh day?
Saturday.
Saturday.
So you were right, honey.
So this might.
My daughter's smarter than me.
well, guess what? You was taught that. Just like we was taught that. Give me Daniel 7:25. God said this is why God said remember the Sabbath day. Right? Daniel 7:25.
Book of Daniel.
Hold on. Before y'all leave, listen to this.
Chapter 7, verse 25.
Right?
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
This is talking about America. Read on.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And shall wear out the saints. These are the saints. These are God's chosen people. The so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American men. These are the 12 tribes of Israel. Read on. And think to what?
And think to change times.
Change times?
And laws.
So they changed times and laws. So they said, no, we're going to change the Sabbath day. We're going to put it on Sunday and make you worship the sun god on the first day of the week. So now everybody, your grandma and everybody about to go to church tomorrow and act like they're praising God on the first day of the week. And they think it's the Sabbath day. So the Sabbath day is so-called Saturday. Right. That's what God said. So y'all are God's chosen people, the Israelites.
Right.
You're not black women. You're not African American. You're not Latino. You're not Native American. Those names were given to you to destroy you.
Right.
In the Bible, you have a name. And what is that name? So we got to show you can't leave here and just walk off and not know your name.
I don't really understand the context of your question. Like, what do you mean by what is my name?
What is your name? All right, can I show you?
Sure.
All right, give me the book of St. John chapter 10 and verse 3. Right, what is your name? Is your name even important? Like, what do they call our race of people in America?
African American.
Now, African American. Where does the word Africa come from?
Africa.
It comes from a man
Well, yeah,
by the name of Leo Scipios Africanus. That's a white man. So your race of people calling themselves after something that they don't even associate with. And then you call yourself after America. 2 continents you calling your name after. So you don't even care about your name anymore.
And we have the most prominent name. Jackson is our last name.
See that? Let's show you how you even got that last name real quick. Give us 2 minutes before y'all leave. Listen to this. Bring it out.
Book of John, chapter 10, verse 3.
Right, read.
To him the portal openeth.
This is talking about God. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Y'all gotta hear this real good. The Lord made y'all walk past it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, listen to this.
And the sheep hear his voice.
The sheep hear his voice. Read on.
And he calleth his own sheep by name.
By what?
By name.
What does he call his people?
By name.
He calls his people by a particular name. And they go as the sheep in the Bible. And so let's show you the name of God's people. Bring it up. Jeremiah. All right, give me Matthew 20. Give me Matthew 15. Where we get that first?
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, and verse 24.
All right, listen to this.
But he answered and said, I am not sent,
I'm only sent. That's what that means. Read on.
but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Who is the sheep that he called by name?
The lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Israel is the name of God's people in the Bible. Now, these are God's chosen people, the so-called black man, Hispanic, and Native American man. Now, we could have just made this up. We could have just been some niggas and said, let's put some signs out here and let's kind of show the people out.
Yeah.
So you should be saying, well, prove to me that, what you got out here. You out here with the Bible in your hand. You got to prove to us.
But you know what though? It's like this is how I feel when it comes to that. When it comes to people proving, I don't feel like anyone has to prove their faith or their God or anything like that. So that's why I don't ever ask anyone to prove to me anything, because I'm an open book and I don't necessarily congregate to one base religion. Like I come from Christianity. My family basis is Pentecostal. But I'm open-minded to every aspect of religion. But my base is Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, God. So that's why I don't want you to prove to me. I want to learn from you. It's basically how I feel.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Prove all things.
What did God say out of his word?
Prove all things.
God said you have to prove things, because if you don't prove these things, somebody can easily beguile you.
Yeah, you can easily be swayed. Yeah,
that's right.
Correct.
Prove all things, read on.
Hold fast that which is good.
Which is what God said. So if God said we got to prove to you that y'all are the Israelites, that's what we're going to do. So give me Deuteronomy 29:1, real quick. Listen to this. All right? Listen to this. And while we're proving this, you're going to learn something along the way.
Okay.
Right?
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verse 1.
Right?
These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel.
With the who?
The children
of Israel.
Moses is making a covenant with who?
The children of Israel.
Children of Israel. Now, children of Israel are God's chosen what?
People.
Chosen people. Give me Deuteronomy 28:15. Listen to this.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
But it shall come to pass to these chosen people. Read on.
If thou wilt not hearken.
Hearken means listen. If the chosen people don't listen, read on.
Unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Right?
To observe to do all his commandments.
If they don't do all the commandments.
And his statutes.
Right?
Which I command thee this day.
What's going to happen to the chosen people if they don't listen?
That all these curses.
All these good things.
That all these curses.
All these blessings.
That all these curses.
All of these curses shall what?
Shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, God said curses are going to come upon the Israelites and overtake them for their disobedience, for not proving all things, for not having having other gods before Him, for not keeping the Sabbath day. So one more verse. Give me verse 68. Listen to this.
Verse 68.
Now this is the curse that's going to happen to the Israelites for not listening and doing what they want to do. Bring it out.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
What the Lord say?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord said that He's going to bring His chosen people into Egypt again.
Yeah.
What did Moses say when he went into Egypt? Pharaoh let my what?
People go.
Now, what did he let them go from?
Slavery.
That's right.
Worship.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what does God mean when He said, I'm going to bring you into Egypt again?
Free you from slavery.
Nope. Now, this is after He freed them from slavery. After He freed them, He said, if you don't keep the commandments, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go back into Egypt again.
Oh, and be enslaved.
Be enslaved again.
Wow.
Hold on.
No,
Almost done. Almost done.
I know
30 more seconds.
I know.
All right, read from the top. All right, listen to this while you're walking away. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Read on.
With ships.
How you going to get to America?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.